All right, let's set the scene. It's late 2025, and the world of AI, it's not just a race anymore, it's an all-out war. The stakes are just insanely high. And right in the middle of this storm, the company everyone thought was untouchable, OpenAI, is starting to look vulnerable. Just one word: enough. That's what OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said. And it speaks volumes, right? He was on a podcast getting grilled about how much money it takes to keep ChatGPT running, and that was his answer. This wasn't some throwaway line. No, this was a crack in the armor, a real sign of the incredible pressure cooker he was in. And yeah, that pressure, it finally boiled over. We're talking about internal memos leaking out. Altman declares a company-wide code red. And look, this is not a drill. This is the real deal. It's an all-hands-on-deck, drop-everything alarm that basically screams, we are in deep, deep trouble. So you gotta ask, right? What on earth could have the leader of the whole AI revolution so spooked? What's going on? Well, as it turns out, it wasn't just one single problem. It was a perfect storm. Multiple massive threats all closing in at the same time. Let's dig into what they were. Okay, threat number one, it's the old rival making a comeback. It's kind of ironic. Just a few years back, it was Google hitting the panic button, calling their own code red because of ChatGPT. Well, guess what? The tables have completely turned. The sleeping giant is awake, and man, is it on the warpath. And just look at the numbers here. The scale of this comeback is just wild. We're talking about Google's Gemini going from 450 million to a mind-blowing 650 million monthly users in just a few months. That's not just growth. That is a tectonic shift. People are flocking to Google. But it's not just about eyeballs and user counts. Nope, the real threat is under the hood. Their new model, Gemini 3, is now actually beating OpenAI's best stuff in key benchmarks. We're talking about things like advanced reasoning, the really hard stuff. Google is now leading the pack, and that's creating what Altman himself called some serious headwinds for his company.
All right, so that's the tech threat. But threat number two, this one might be even scarier because it hits OpenAI right in the wallet. See, this whole AI war isn't just about who's got the smartest bot. It's about who can actually afford to run the smartest bot. And one of OpenAI's biggest rivals is playing a much, much smarter money game.
So check this out. You've got OpenAI, who thinks they might be profitable by 2030. Then you have Anthropic, the folks behind the Claude chatbot. They're making less than half the revenue of OpenAI, but get this, their financials show they're on track to be profitable by 2028, 2 years earlier. How? They're laser-focused on business customers and aren't burning cash on flashy, expensive stuff like image generation. Wow, and this chart just puts it in stark relief, doesn't it? Look at this. By 2027, Anthropic is projected to burn through only 9% of its revenue. OpenAI, a whopping 57%. That's just not sustainable. It's a massive difference in how efficiently they run their businesses, and it puts a giant spotlight on OpenAI's spend-at-all-costs model. And when we say high spending, we mean it. The numbers are just astronomical. OpenAI has committed to spending up to $1.4 trillion on computing power. I mean, can you even wrap your head around that number? Analysts are already saying this is going to create a $200 billion hole in their finances by 2030 that they'll have to somehow fill. So you've got a resurgent Google breathing down your neck and a leaner, meaner Anthropic outsmarting you on the business side. You'd think that's enough, right? Wrong, because now there's a third threat, a total wild card. And this one proves that the AI game isn't just a Silicon Valley soap opera anymore. It's gone global. Say hello to DeepSeek. They're based in China, and you need to pay attention to them. Just look at the data here. Their newest model isn't just catching up, it's elite. It is world-class. When you look at really tough benchmarks like advanced math or competitive coding, DeepSeek is right there with, and in some cases even beating both Google and OpenAI. And what this means is huge. For years, everyone just assumed you needed that special Silicon Valley magic, the money, the talent to build top-tier AI. Well, that idea is officially dead. DeepSeek has shattered it. The game board just got a lot more crowded and way, way more unpredictable. Okay, so let's recap. You've got Google coming back strong, you're bleeding money compared to your rivals, and there's a new powerhouse from halfway across the world. So that code red at OpenAI, it wasn't just panic. It was a signal to go to war. And their battle plan was a huge, dramatic, all-in bet, doubling down on the one thing they do best.
And the plan itself? It was brutally simple. Step 1, take every single dollar, every engineer, every resource, and throw it at the core AI model. The goal? Make the engine that powers ChatGPT the undisputed champ once again. Step 2, to make that happen, you got to put everything else on ice. Everything.
And when we say everything else, we mean it. We're talking about sacrificing huge, money-making ideas. That whole plan for advertising? Frozen. And by the way, they have over 600 ex-Meta people who were probably working on that. Those cool futuristic projects for AI agents that could do your shopping or help with your health? Shelved. Pushed aside. Nothing mattered more than winning back the top spot for the core model.
Okay, let's pull back for a second here. Because this desperate all-in move from OpenAI, it tells us something really important about the entire AI industry. This war in 2025, it's not just one single race to the finish line anymore. It's more like it's fractured into a bunch of different battles, with each company picking which fight it thinks they can actually win.
And this really breaks down the new battlefield perfectly. You've got Google's Gemini, which is now the king of high-level abstract thinking. Then there's Anthropic's Claude, which has carved out a niche as the absolute go-to for coding and fixing bugs. And that leaves OpenAI's GPT trying to be the jack of all trades, the versatile one that's pretty good at everything. You see how this is playing out? Everyone is specializing. Why? Because the competition is just that intense. You can't be the best at everything anymore. And it's forcing the entire industry to ask a really fundamental question. What does winning in AI even look like now?
And that's really the core question we're left with. In this race for AI dominance, what actually matters more? Is it having the absolute fastest, most powerful, bleeding-edge model, no matter the cost? Or is it about building a smart, sustainable business that can actually survive the marathon, not just the sprint? The answer to that? Well, it's going to shape the next decade of tech for all of us.